Good morning, dear students. Yesterday in the previous class we have learnt about the 9th standard syllabus, that is in history, that is the lesson the Christianity and Islam. Today let us go to the second lesson of history, that is medieval India and political transition. In that we are going to come across the first topic regarding the Rajput dynasties. In that we are going to study today about the Gujjar Pratiharas and the Garhwalas, Paramaras, Solankis, Chandelas, Chauhans, and what are the contribution of Rajputs by having a detailed note through the pictures. Dear children, let us go to the medieval India and political transition. The period between the second half of the 12th century and the first half of 13th century is recognized as the transitional period in Indian history. Transitional period indicates the preparedness of the society to enter from one era to another era. In this transitional period, society to enter from one era to another era. In this transitional period, the Indian society entered the medieval period from ancient period. The Turks broke the political system of small kingdoms. They also established an empire which had a strong centralized power structure. Monotheism was expounded in the field of religion due to the influence of Islam. All these developments indicate the beginning of medieval period in India. Before the study of the empire established by Turks, it is necessary to understand the multi-state political system of pre-Turk period. The rule of small kings is called as multi-state political system. The study of multi-state political system can be started with the study of Rajput dynasty that ruled the western and northern India from 9th century to 13th century. Now let us go to the Rajput dynasty. After the rule of Vardhanas of Thana Vineshwara, most of the western and northern India was ruled by Gurjara Pratiharas, Chandelas of Bundelkhand, Garhwalas, Solankis, Paramaras, and many other Rajput dynasty. By the end of 12th century, Rajput kings like Prithviraj Chauhan, Jayachandra Garhwal, Paramar Deva, Chandela were the powerful kings of northern India. Now let us go to the Gurjara Pratiharas. The Pratiharas have claimed in many of their inscriptions that the Lakshmana of Ramayana period, a Kshatriya of Surya Vamsha, as the founding person of their family. But as per the available evidences, Nagabhatta is the founder of this dynasty. The Pratiharas ruled Sindh region by keeping Kanauj as their capital city. They fought back the frequent Arab attacks. Mihara Bhoja and Mahendrapala, the powerful king of this dynasty, had defeated the Palas of Bengal and had extended their Pratihara kingdom till Bengal. An Arab traveller named Sulaiman had visited the court of Mihara Bhoja and has appreciated the kingdom as it had a peace. Pratihara rule declined during the rule Mahipala, who succeeded Mahendrapala. Next comes Garhwalas. Chandradeva, the founder of this dynasty, ruled the northern India, keeping Varanasi as his capital city. Govinda Chandra is another important ruler of this dynasty. He extended his rule till Malwa and Magadha by defeating Palas. He also defeated the kings of Kalinga and Odisha. The rulers of Kashmir, Gujarat and Chola had cordially relationship with Govinda Chandra. Next comes Paramaras. Paramaras came to prominence after the decline of Pratiharas. Upendra Krishnaraja, the feudatory Dharanagar was their capital. Bhoja is the most popular king of Paramaras dynasty. He extended the Paramara state by defeating Kalyani Chalukyas, Gangas of Kalinga and northern Konkans. Though Bhoja experienced ups and downs in political sphere, he remained undefeated in the area of literature. He himself was a poet. As the kings who came after him were weak, the Paramar dynasty declined. Next comes the Solankis. Mularaja first is the founder of this dynasty. Though Bhima first is the most famous king of this dynasty, he could not protect the Somanatha temple from Ghazni's invention. After him, Mularaja II and Veera Dhavala were capable kings. Mularaja II defeated Muhammad Ghazni near Mount Abu. During the rule of this dynasty, the famous Jain scholar Hemachandra compiled a Prakrit dictionary, Deshimala. Ulaf Khan and Nasrat Khan, the military generals of Alauddin Khilji, defeated Karnadeva and made the kingdom of Solankis a part of Delhi Sultanate. Chandelas. Danga is the most famous king of Chandelas who prospered in Bundelkhand. In the beginning of the Chandelas were the feudatory kings of Pratiharas. After the decline of Paramaras, Danga declared himself independent. He took hold of the eastern part of Paramaras kingdom and extended his kingdom by defeating Pala and Adras. Danga, who had the title Maharaja di Raja, King of Kings, extended military assistance to Hindu Shahi king Jayapala to fight back attacking Turks. Finally, due to the infighting and lack of unity among Rajputs, Khilji Sultans conquered this kingdom. Next comes the Chauhans, one of the important dynasty of Rajputs. The Chauhan dynasty is the most prominent among the Rajput. The root of this dynasty is visible during 7th century. The dynasty started its rule in the Ajmer region of Rajasthan. The Chauhan dynasty is the most prominent among the Rajputs. The root of this dynasty is visible during 7th century. The dynasty started its rule in the Ajmer region of Rajasthan. The rulers of this dynasty, Ajay Raja, Vigraha Raja IV and Prithvi Raja III, made Chauhans the prominent rulers of the Western India during 12th century. Prithvi Raja Chauhan, known as he was known for his bravery, defeated the Chandelas of Bundelkhand, gaining Maheba and Kalinjar. Prithviraj Chauhan defeated Muhammad Ghori at Tarain. Ghori wanted to extend his Ghor kingdom towards Sindh region. Muhammad Ghori, who was severely wounded in this battle, led another attack to Delhi in the following year. He defeated Prithvi Raja Chauhan at Tarain, the very place of previous battle. Prithviraj is an embodiment of Rajput valor and bravery. Now let us go to the contributions of Rajputs. The Rajputs who ruled during the last part of ancient, the early part of medieval period, encouraged the art, culture and the religion liberally. Rajput kings themselves were scholars. Kings like Bhoja, Munja have written various literary works. King Munja had poets Padmagupta and Halayudha. In his court, King Bhoja had extended his royal patronage to the Jain scholars Shantisena, Prabhachandra Suri and Ghanapala during his rule. The poetic works like Jayadeva's Gita Govinda, Bharavi's Kirtajaneya, Bharadruhari's Ravana Vadha, Mahendra Pala's Kavya Mimamse were written during the rule of Rajputs. Dramas like Rajashekara's Bala Ramayana and Karpura Manjari, Bhavabhutis, Mahavira Charita and Uttara Ramacharita and historical works like Kalhana's Rajatarangini, Jayanika's Prithviraja Vijaya and Hemachandra's Kumarapala Charita are the most important works. And Prithviraja Raso by Chand Bardai and Bhoja Prabandha by Ballala are the noted biographies of Rajput rulers. Gujarati, Rajasthani and Hindi languages developed during this period. The educational institutions of Nalanda, Kashi, Vikramashila, Ujjaini received support from Rajputs. The Rajput kings constructed spacious forts in Chittor, Mandu, Ranthambore, Jodhpur and Gwalior of northern India. They built palaces of Jaipur, Gwalior and Udaipur. Dilawar temple, Vimala temple and Luna Vasai temples were built on Mount Abu. All these are beautiful and known for the artistic architecture. The Chandelas built Khandaraya's temple in Khajuraho. Shiva and Vishnu temples were more in number among the temples built during this reign. They also encouraged painting. The painting style of this period is classified as Rajasthani painting style. The Pahari painting style, Rajasthani painting style can be seen in Mewar, Bukaner, Jodhpur, Jaisalmer and Buni. Pahari painting style can be seen in Khasoli, Jammu and Garhwal. Like this, Rajputs have a special place in the history of India. Thank you for watching this video.